Hi, Michael Bettine here, once again, down in the Gong Cave. And today I'd like to talk about some new mallets from Grotta Sonora in Italy. They stopped by the Gong Camp Europe last month, brought a whole bunch of their gongs, and brought some of their new mallets. And I got 4 of their new mallets that I want to talk about. So let's take a look. First one, I've got this big, very soft, puffy mallet here. It's got a metal handle and a big rubber end on it, padded end, which is nice. Here, we'll get a close-up on this guy so you can see. It's a short handle compared to a lot of others, like here's a Peisty M5. You can see it's about 6 inches shorter. The heads are about the same size. A big difference with this one is it's round and it's very soft with a nice short nap fur covering on it. Now this is actually a real heavy mallet for its size. This weighs 418 grams, which is a little over 0.9 pounds. So it's almost a pound. And with the short handle, the balance, I can really feel the throw on this because this head has a lot of weight to it. But it's extremely soft. Now Grotta Sonora designed these for their larger, thin steel gongs. Something that has a lot of weight to get it to open up and really bring out that bottom end. I have a 26-inch deep gong here. This is a little big for it. I can use it if I'm careful, but if I kind of lay into it, it just totally overpowers this gong because it's very thin. I like it for certain applications. I've been playing around here in my studio. I used it on a gig a week ago or so, and I really like it in certain applications. I don't in others. So people ask me, why do you bring so many mallets with you? It's because each mallet has its own unique sound character. And some mallets fit some gongs, some mallets fit others, some mallets work with all the gongs. So you really have to experiment. I mean, I can just look around my studio here. I have a big mallet bag full of mallets here. I have a box full of mallets there. I have mallets up here on the tray. I've got mallets there. I have a mallet tray that's normally here that I took down to get the wind gong closer. That's full of mallets. So you need mallets for different applications. This is extremely soft and it has no contact sound. I know a lot of people out there kind of complain about, I hit it and I can hear this click, I can hear this contact. That's neither good nor bad. It's more personal preference. Sometimes I like to have that contact sound, which gives the overall sound a little more edge because there's some attack to it. This is extremely soft. It'll give you that big, warm, round sound. Like on the 32-inch symphonic here. Let's try that out. Get my stool out of the way. I can get a really beautiful, big, warm sound in the center. You can hear that. I mean, it's really soft. It's really deep end. Now you might have noticed with this that I'm holding it with my thumb on the side, which is not the normal way I play. Usually it's the thumb up here. But you can see the size of this handle. It's really a big handle. actually fits my hand well. And because of the short throw, I'm using more of a wrist stroke on this as opposed to a finger stroke. I kind of like that, being able to just give it a throw and let the weight of the mallet do its job. So let me do that again. Now I can do it with the thumb on too. But the design of the mallet, the very heavy head, it just wants to keep pulling over, and the short handle, the balance point is very different than if you have a longer handle. And this is an occasion where the thumb wrapped to the side of the mallet and just taking it in a grip seems to work better. And because of it, the way I'm holding it, it's not loose. I'd like if I use this grip where I'm actually gripping it down here and letting it move in here. And this one, I'm gripping it solidly. And again, I'm using wrist, which is something I don't normally use, a lot of wrist. To me, it's more finger, like this. But with this mallet, wrist feels very comfortable. This works, but I kind of like it with this. Let's try it on the big wind gong here. I won't play the Grotta Sonora, but I have to remember, and this is a thing you have to learn when you have multiple gongs, especially made of different materials. B20 bronze, nickel silver, steel alloy, and very thin. If I was to use the same sort of force I'm using on these gongs, besides the fact that they are bigger, on this gong, it just totally overpowers it. This gong always needs a very gentle touch. And I hardly hit that, but with all the weight here, it's really difficult for me to play it any softer with that. Let's try it with this. This is a Chocolin GM2 medium. You can see it's a very sensitive gong. Now I don't know if you could hear the difference. There was some attack sound with the Chocolin, whereas this was very, very soft. Sort of sound, almost like when we're speaking and we have a hard consonant like a T or a P, that there's this sort of sound. And you see that just like, well, that just totally overpowered the gong. This is a gong that needs just to be eased into opening up. Let's try the 32-inch again. Now you might notice with the left hand I'm playing differently because my hands are different. And this feels more comfortable this way than this way in the left hand. Now here's where we come up against the limitations. Let's switch a mallet here. Peisty M5 and the Grotta Sonora one. It opens up the 32-inch fairly well. In the middle, big, nice, deep bass tone. Now if we move out to the, in between the center and the edge, with this mallet, not on a gong like this, because it's too soft. If I play with the I guess it's an M4 here. I can get the gong to open up more because it's harder. There's a little more attack to it. There's a little more, just the hardness of the mallet moves the metal more, where this is extremely soft. And it's just, I can get it to open up if I continue like that. Same thing with the wind gong here. In the center, it just doesn't have enough. It has enough weight, but it doesn't have enough hardness to really get this going. I can get a nice round bass sound, and then it blossoms into that white noise. And if I really muscle it and give it a little more arm, I can get this to open up, but you'll notice there's no attack. It's just like, and then it opens up. Where with something like this, instant. Big difference there. Notice how made contact with the gong, the whole gong opened up, and all the higher tones came out right away. Where here, it's a delay. It's like, and then it comes in. Where with this mallet, it's like right from the beginning. Once I have the gong in motion, if you know your basic physics, the body in motion tends to stay in motion. Once I have the gong going, then I can give it a fairly heavy strike and it will open up right away. But that's because it's already vibrating like that. Now let's move down here. So the gong is much thinner and looser down here, able to vibrate more. This works really well to get it to open up, like between the center and the edge. But again, without that contact noise. If we do it with the M4 here. If you can notice, that was more immediate still. This one, even down here, was a little bit blah, and then it came in where this one, it was just like blah, right away. Listen to that again. These are all very subtle points, very subtle increments, but I think they're important to know about in a couple of areas. One is when you're choosing gongs, how does the gong react to your mallets? And then when you're choosing new mallets, how do the gongs react to the new mallets? That's why if you are going to buy a gong or look at gongs, actually go physically to a place that has gongs, I always recommend bring your mallets, because mallets are so personal. You don't want to go to a store and play a mallet on a gong that you are not familiar with, like something like this. This is a unique Paiste design that came with the bronze gongs. And you go to the store and you go, oh, okay. And you play it with this and it sounds one way, and you get home and you take your mallets and you play it and it sounds differently. So just a bit of a tip. Always bring your own mallets when testing gongs in person. And when you take a lesson too, I always tell my students when they come over here, bring your mallets. Even bring your gong if you want. You know, if it's not like a 60-inch gong, if it's something you can manage, bring your main gong or your main 2 gongs. I've got stands. Then you can learn on your own gong. But bring your own mallets because they are the direct connection between you and the instrument. So these are the subtleties I work on down here. I try different mallets. I'm always looking for new mallets. Not because I'm not happy with the ones I have, but because I'm always looking for different sounds, different possibilities. Now this one gives me a lot of different possibilities. I don't have anything that's big and soft and heavy like this with a short handle that will give me that nice boom sort of sound in the middle. I don't have anything like this. So this is a welcome addition to the arsenal. We'll try it down here. But it's for very soft strokes. We can hear that on the Jupiter, nice and rounded, very soft, very deep. I really like that type of sound. Now again, the M4. Right away, you could hear that attack. I'm sure you could. And it gets the gong to open up just a little more in the mids. You can hear that about, there's that little bit coming out. Where this just big, round, deep tone. It's a great mallet. It shouldn't be your only mallet unless all you have are some of the thinner Grotta Sonora steel gongs. This is perfect for those. Madhava was playing them on some of their bigger ones. I think they were like 32, 38-inch gongs. It was amazing on that. A little too big for something like this. But I like it for when I want that nice, just deep ohm sound. That's the first one. Second mallet from them. Completely different. This is a much smaller one. A longer handle, I think. Here, we'll compare. A bit longer. A wooden handle. It's got a nice taper on it. You can see that. Let's get a good look at that. It's got a nice taper. It's easy to grip right here in the middle. Fairly weighty for a small head like that. Big difference in this, it's a very articulate mallet. You will get a lot of attack sound. Now they designed this mainly for their like 19-inch handheld gongs. Probably hear that attack sound in there, that ping again, just like a consonant on a word. I actually like it a lot because of that attack. I like that sound. It's perfect on the 32 here. It gets what I would call a medium deep tone. You can hear some of the real ooh low, but it's just a little above that that's accented. And you can hear the attack sound compared to this. Notice the difference. Attack in an upper note comes out. Not the real deep part isn't the main note. Here. It's all bottom end. It's all that boom down there. Should have got another one of these because these would make a great pair of fairly heavy rollers. I really like the feel, the handle again with the taper. It balances nicely, and these would make a good set of rollers. So I'll have to order another one. Now let's try it on the wind gong here. Again, listen to that sound. You'll hear the articulation, the sort of a sound in there. And that really big bottom end is not there. It's more mids. We change mallets to the heavier one. You can hear again, it was that big deep note followed by a rise, a delayed rise in all the other tones. You need different mallets. You can't just have one big puffy mallet like this and a couple of small mallets and think that's all you need. My teacher told me, if you want to change your sound, change your stick or change your mallet. And that is the truest thing. Here's two mallets that exhibit very different characteristics from most of the mallets I have. This one is completely different. Here's a couple of similar ones to this. This is a ProMark marching bass drum beater. And it's the head is a lot lighter. And here's one that's an Asian bamboo one, and I think it's got a felt core, a wrapped core, and then there are socks on it. Very similar, but not the weight of this one. This one, I can just feel it. It's got a lot of weight to it. Really nice mallet. So again, you need a lot of mallets. And I'm always checking out mallets. That's what I love about going to things like Gong Camp and other gatherings like that because people bring their mallets, manufacturers bring their mallets. Miguel from Universe Gongs had some interesting mallets of his own design, and I should have probably picked a few of those up. But you get so busy and you just kind of like, you forget to do stuff like that. But he had some nice ones that I would like to have checked out and brought home. So go through a lot of mallets. Have a whole bag full of mallets. You need them. Let me show you here. Yeah. So here's a mallet, my big mallet bag full of different mallets. I've got some metal knitting needles, all kinds of stuff. Actual drumsticks. They all make different sounds, and they all work on different gongs. The stuff that works on this Grotta Sonora deep gong doesn't necessarily work on a bigger Paiste nickel silver or a bigger bronze wind gong, B20 bronze wind gong. So you need different mallets. The next two mallets I have are some prototypes of some new flumi designs that Madhava gave me to try out. They have some unique design elements that I won't talk about because they are prototypes and I don't want to say things that I shouldn't say right now, but I did want to talk about them and demonstrate them. Let's compare them to the ever popular Bear Love. So the large one here is same size as a number 6 Bear Love, and the small one is the same size as a number 4. The handle is shorter by about 1/2 inch. On this one, by about 1/2 inch also. Very different. These have the Bear Love wooden handles. These have some handles that are not wood. I'm not going to say any more than that, but I really like these. Again, not every mallet you have will work on every gong. The same with flumis. This flumi works great on some gongs, okay on others, not so well on others. This one works great on some gongs that this one doesn't work with. So you have to experiment, especially if you have multiple gongs like I do. And you have to try them out and find what they work with. And then with each gong, how does it work? I can stroke one gong with this in a specific way and get the sound, and on another gong I have to work it a different way. This is why you practice, because you have to learn all these little subtleties. Sometimes they're very small nuances, but you need to learn them. So let's try these out. This is the number 4 size. This is my number 9 Paiste bronze gong, the deeper one. This is a very loose gong. It opens up very easily. And I've never really enjoyed playing flumi on it because it just, to me, the gong is too open, too washy, and it's easy to just kind of overpower it, even with a flumi. But let's try it with this guy. It gets some great sounds. nice. Yeah. Let's try the Bear Love here. We'll compare. Right away, you can hear a complete difference. I would say this is a harder compound. The minute I took the Bear Love, I could feel it squish more and stick more. And that's why I can't get that high sound. I can get a nice mid-range tone. But I don't get that really beautiful high tone. That's beautiful. And the Bear Love doesn't do that. And it can't do that. So again, why do you need multiple mallets, even multiple flumies of the same size? Because the compounds of the heads are different. The design and compounds of the handles are different. You will get different sounds out of the same gong. That's so important to remember. You wouldn't think it. You would think, oh, these are going to be the same. You can hear it, a complete difference. Let's try it on the symphonic here. Same sort of feeling with this, because again, I believe it's a harder compound, whether it's silicone or what. It rides more on the surface of the gong. Thus, it gets a higher tone than the Bear Love, which to me squishes a little more and pulls more and brings out a deeper tone. Let's try the number 4 Bear Love here. Right away, you can tell it's much deeper. And I've never really liked the number 4 on the 32-inch symphonic here. It just doesn't create a sound that I like or can use. Where here, brighter sound, but it's not harsh. Let's try the bigger one, the 36-inch wind gong. Interesting tone. I hear that, and I hear a French horn. If you're familiar with a French horn in a symphony orchestra, it has that same sort of throaty kind of tone. in. I feel like with this, because it's a harder compound, I can just ride on the surface. I don't have to press as much. It's not as sticky. I can just glide across the surface, thus getting the higher tones. The other thing I like about this one a lot is how I can change the tone by moving my hand. If I'm here, I can get the high tone. I move down, what about inch and a half, 2 inches in that area. I can bring in a different harmonic and then move back. So watch as I play and listen for how the tones are changing. Practicing, working with your gong, working with your mallets, finding out what tones you can get and how to manipulate it, where to hold it to bring out different tones. Here's the Bear Love 4. Out a deeper, what I would say more of a rounded tone. Where this one to me is more of a pointed tone. It's got more edge to it. This is more rounded off. Let's try the big one, the number 6 size here. It's a nice full, again, sort of a rounded tone to it. Let's take the Bear Love, number 6. That right away, a fuller type sound activating the whole gong, because I can even press it in with my fingers. It's a stickier sort of ball that compresses more and it activates more of the gong. With this, it just feels stiffer and doesn't get that fullness out of the gong here, but it gets a whole different character. A little more defined sound. So there we go, 4 new mallets, 2 prototype flumis from the mines of Grotta Sonora, and 2 standard mallets, a large heavy padded one with a short handle, and then sort of a medium harder padded one. More articulate, more bass. Mallets. We need lots of mallets. Okay. Thanks for watching. We will see you next time. Bye.